Okay. All right, we're gonna call the May 2nd, 2025 Economic Development, Historic Preservation and Environmental Conservation Committee meeting to order. Do already minutes? Start with public concerns?
I'll just do a roll call. Yeah. So Courtney McGovero, Elena Finnan, Matt Yano, David Arpino, Eric Strayer, Rita Osborne McCall, Janet Min, Clark Henry, myself, Laura Robertson, and Chairwoman Patsy Dorian.
Okay. All right. Looks like we have one guest from the
yes.
Do you want to start? Go ahead and introduce yourself and whatever you'd like to say.
My name is Jonelle Cusano. I'm here for my daughter who's working. We're here for the land donation in Catherine Woods.
Yes.
On the agenda.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're good.
Yes,
All
I'm
right.
here. So
All right. Fantastic. Then we'll move on to minutes. I'll take a motion for the February 7th, 2025 minute for approval.
So moved. I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And we'll take a motion for March 7th, 2025. That's weird. It's the same date. March 7th, 2025.
It was
28 days.
28 February.
March 7th, 2025, approval of the minutes. Second. Also in favor. Aye.
I have to say that was.
yeah, I wasn't here either.
Okay, we have a quorum though, right? Yeah, John? Okay. Okay, we'll move on to the resolutions and the finance committee topics.
Yes. So our first resolution is the resolution recognizing Mr. McKinney for his contributions to Lions Park train station. John's been asking about this one. I think maybe we wanted to coordinate with Ray to see if we could get a name after him or a plaque down there.
I like that.
So we could do the internal coordination. I'll reach out to Mr. McKinney and make sure that that date works for him.
Do we want to wait until do we have time to get something down there and do like whatever we're going to name after him? We're actually talking about getting new benches and picnic tables, so we could do, yes, we could combine that. Do we want to wait and do this when we do that, or do we want to do this first and then?
We could, sorry. I mean, I think that'd be okay. Then we could kind of present it to him. What do you think?
I would say wait and do it all one thing. That's what I was thinking. Okay,
So let's put this one to,
but we'll still check in with him.
yeah, I'll check the meeting, dates with him, just see if he's on any vacations or anything.
Right, that sounds good.
And then another thing we were talking about is, we can honor him for all the work he's done on this one and then see if we can, start paying attention to the Grange.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Okay, I'll talk to Ray about what we could get going for that. We were just talking about this the other day, so this is perfect timing. All right, and then it looks like we have a resolution to adopt phase 2 of the natural resources inventory plan.
Yeah, so, Ashok did that presentation, I think 2 meetings ago.
There's two.
Yeah, but the follow-up to that is adopting the phase 2 of the natural resources inventory plan. Yeah, do you have any comments, or do you think?
Just that I think it's awesome. It's I had no experience with natural resource inventories at all before I came here, so I thought it's really interesting. They did a great job, and yeah.
We were really pleased with Jim's work on that.
Good.
We'd like to extend it.
Okay, so then the discussion we have this morning, which actually I think we may have talked about, but the owner's family is here to talk to us today, is that there's a small piece of land on the corner of Catherine's Woods it appears from its size and shape that it may have been subdivided out to be a sign for the subdivision at Catherine's Woods. It was owned by the developer of Catherine's Woods who stopped paying taxes on it, so it's gone to the county auction. And I think this is about the third or fourth county auction it's gone to. And the unfortunate thing about it is that it keeps taking good people, it keeps taking advantage of good people, which we found, you know, with the Schenectady County auctions, that they buy it thinking that maybe they could do something with it as, you know, a first investment or something like that. And there's really nothing you can do with it. So
How big is the parcel?
pretty small.
It's in it's 320 by 65.
Oh, and can you just say your name and address for the record?
Oh, sure. Jonelle Cusano. I'm just thinking it's my daughter's land. Should have said Kristen Cusano.
Oh, that's good.
70 Cornerstone Drive, Boston spot. But yeah, so it's 320 by 65, which I think I've been here a few times.
Yeah.
And I guess if it was like the other way around, like 320 this way and 65, it's just the way it sounded good when she bought it, you know, but it's very deceiving.
Yeah,
You know,
you
because-
said it had hit a couple other people too.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
yes,
yes.
no question. So she's offering to donate it to the town so that it can't hurt anybody anymore.
That's really nice.
And donations we can accept, right? It's just, we can't give the land without a whole process, right?
The taxes aren't much. It's like 174 total
Okay.
for the property. School. Yeah.
School and-
School is $37. And so it's not
Our
like,
piece is
but she's just paying this like $174 every year for why? She's been doing it for like since 2019. And then she's like, oh, you know, she's tried to sell it, you know, but she doesn't want to take advantage of everybody else either.
You can't really do anything.
If nobody wants it, what's well, of course, and we were upfront with them. We're saying, really, this is just a silly piece of land. I mean, you know, just what you paid for, a couple thousand. And, nobody wants this, so we thought we could
That would
back
be
if we
great.
could take it back.
That's, yeah, it's very nice of her to do. So do we just need a resolution for that or how does that work?
It's paperwork that needs to be done beyond just a resolution.
Oh, well, I mean, like after all the deed stuff, we just accept the donation or.
Yes, so you accept a donation and then the board has to authorize you as supervisor to execute those documents for closing.
Okay, so we do the resolution first
We should
or,
also do searches. That kind of stuff. I mean, between myself and Rob, we can handle that.
The other advantage, I think, to the town is I do think that it was possibly meant for a subdivision sign. If the community ever gets together, I know Frank Berger has talked about being maybe interested, they could band together and pay for a subdivision sign under our code. I mean, it's probably unlikely, but if we own it, that's the only way that that would be able to happen anyway. So should you want to do the title search first, make sure that everything's okay, and then next month we talk about a resolution?
Yeah, I mean, procedurally, I'll have to think about. Since we don't have a contract, we usually go under contract before we do title search, but we could just pay for the title search and then. Well, you don't have attorneys, you're just doing it.
Yeah.
That's fine.
okay,
So I'll see. I mean, I can do it, but
we'll plan for it for next month then, because like.
it won't be done but for this month.
Right.
Yeah, okay,
yeah.
so we'll
do
put that,
June,
this,
maybe even July if something happens.
I think June should be fine, but
Okay.
I mean, it should be a quick title search. It shouldn't take too long. And there's no.
okay, and she did send me a formal letter with the request for.
Okay.
So for June, so we'll put it on tentative for June, we'll put Jim and the Catherine's with their donation in June, which leaves just one resolution from my department this month.
Oh,
So in the letter, yes, she should.
For planning board, do you want to go ahead? I do have maps for two things in it.
Okay, great. So currently we've got projects at 2690 Balltown Road, which is the GE Vernova. So two of them are together. They have the guardhouse and the patio. So we have a public hearing coming up on Monday for that. And then the second application that they have is for new building signage and signage on the property. It's basically wayfinding signage, and I think some other, there's a monument sign and some other things there. So if you've been up to the campus and seen how they've connected the buildings and what's there, and the way that they're going to have public come in with the guard shack in the front, none of this is visible from Balltown Road. The buildings are difficult to see unless you know the campus. So as you get there, they're going to direct you around where to park, and it's definitely something that's needed for the site that's up there. Those two are on the planning board. 2331 Troy Schenectady Road is the Heritage Group. This is the brick building that's next to the mobile station. It's undergone some previous renovations from a resolution that was approved for a tenant change a while ago. They're coming in for a monument sign that's going to be on Route 7.
So Heritage Group, the company, is moving into that space?
Well, they're I think it's going to be their office, or part of their office. Yeah, so
They did a tenant change, I think, back in 2023 or so.
it was a while.
It's just taken them a long time to.
So Heritage Group owns that company that owns that. Okay. That makes more sense.
Some office spaces going in there. They're not really changing anything on the outside other than, I believe it was the sign that they wanted to do. Same parking material. 2305 Knott Street East is going to be Cantina's Mexican Grill. This is the former Tequila's. So again, it's an applicant for a tenant change that's in there. The signage is separate. They don't have their signage package ready yet, but basically it's the same exact footprint on the inside. Very, very little. We're going to keep the patio. Straightforward as it could. 3418 Albany Street and 191 Fillmore Ave. This was approved by the ZBA for lot line adjustments. So where those two properties came together, one was very trapezoidal, and then the other one came shaped like an L. So they were able to make them not rectangular, but definitely clean them up, give backyards to one of them. The same owner owns both properties. So there were 4 waivers that were granted, and that's going to be on our docket for Monday. 390 State Street. This is the Kia Automotive. So there's a couple applications that are going on here. They were perfect. We have the site plan up there. So this applicant came to the planning board just under 2 years ago, and they've acquired all of the property that goes up Fagan Avenue. So there is an existing house, which is the beginning of the cut through portion of the parking lot. There is a vacant property. And then there is another house, which is right at the edge of where the rendering is, right there where the cursor is. So the Kia Matthews Automotive Group have purchased all of these properties. The closest house to the existing parking lot is vacant and it's in marginal condition. And this is a reduction of what they did previously because they wanted to take down all of the houses, expand out a little bit further. But with this application, only one house would come down. They would do a lot line adjustment for 33 South Fagan, which is the one at the top. It would make the lot narrower, but if you look at the other lots that are in the surrounding areas, they're actually pretty similar in size on the other side of the street. The big issue here is taking down a residential house, and this is a special use permit for the parking lot to be on the property. In addition to that, where the green space is that encapsulates the main building, they're looking at doing a building renovation and upgrade. So it's a facade upgrade, it's a new service entrance, it's a area for sales. They've done a bunch of interior renderings. The parcel that's to the left, right there, is their detailing center and areas where they queue up cars before they go out for sale. So currently right now, they don't have enough parking space on these lots right here for their inventory that they have. They have a place approximately 6 or 7 miles away. They shuttle the cars over. They're what's considered a high volume dealership. They're not selling 20, 30 cars a month. They're selling over 100 or hundreds a month. So this is where we are. It's first meeting we had with them was last meeting. This is the first time we've seen the plan. A few members of the planning board have gone and done a site visit, and they took a look at the configuration. The previous plan that had all of the houses coming down was voted down by the planning board a couple years ago. And
I believe the town board was about to make a positive deck.
Yeah, I was gonna say the CAC looked at it and for a whole slew of reasons, we gave it a positive, we recommended a positive deck on that. We have not seen this.
I believe the. I have to go look.
You might want to just explain what a positive deck is.
Yeah, okay.
Someone-
So what the seeker New York State Equality Review Act requires the CAC to look at a project and determine if it has a significant, may have a significant impact on the surrounding area. That's may, and it encompasses a whole variety of things from character of neighborhood, comp plan, utilities, the whole scope. So we looked at the project and there were several reasons why we felt that an environmental impact statement should be used, included the impact in the neighborhood, loss of affordable housing, eroding of the neighborhood. Potentially, if you started doing commercial development, it'd be less desirable for people to live there. And this unit doesn't have a lot of areas like this area for affordable housing. And we were concerned about the lighting and the heating. And just when Facilla owned this, there was that lot over on the right. He came before the board and we on that piece, I mean, on the left, there, that they do their detailing.
Mhm.
You know, and at the time when he came before the board, he was basically saying this was it, the expansion, that they needed no further expansion. That was many, many years ago. So, I think the CAC would have to look at this again in the process.
Yeah.
Address at all the issue of the cars being in the middle of State Street.
so that's a discussion point that we have, and there's varying outlooks, and I'll explain what's going on. So on State Street, when they get a car delivery, you get a car carrier, maybe has 5-6 cars on it. They're not supposed to queue up in the center lane, which is the turning lane on State Street. They're not supposed to queue up in a lane or on the shoulder. They're supposed to be on a property or somehow off the main drag. That doesn't always happen. There's a lot of third-party carriers that these guys contract with that are getting cars from New Jersey or Pennsylvania or who knows where that are coming in, and the hours vary. So this application says where that cut through is, where the new blacktop is shown, would allow a car carrier, tractor trailer, come in, queue up in there, and then be able to unload and then come back out and circle through the property and come back out onto State Street. Personally, I think that the current configuration of the lots that they own, they could manipulate that to get the carriers off of the street in a safe manner. It's a communication and it's a business transaction. Others feel very strongly that this is something that should be concluded as part of this application package and does solve a big safety issue that isn't a developmental concern.
I would just like to add one additional thing. In the conversations we had with them when they came before the CAC, we specifically asked if this parking lot would meet their need, and they said no. And I think the story was that they were renting somewhere else and they were removed from that. They lost that lease, but they actually need a bigger parking lot. So that doesn't actually fulfill their needs. They're still going to have to go out and get another parking lot for storage. So I think part of the question is, you know, if this is just storage, you know, why would you put it here if it doesn't fit your needs other than convenience? So,
Well, and this is something that the CAC hasn't seen yet, but this proposal is in conjunction with an addition that is removing parking spaces.
Well,
not
Yeah,
sure.
and their thing here is getting moved over, but yeah, they're losing all the parking here with this addition. And according to the applicant, because Fusillo sold it to Matthews, Kia itself has high standards for its car sales place, which is why the front is still getting a whole facade. But Kia basically demands 20 service bays in order for it to like say okay to these, and this with this addition they'll have 17, so they already have to ask for a negotiation with Kia to move forward. So
Yeah, I mean, we'll look at the proposal. New. I'm not-
yeah, it is slightly different from the last one that we looked at. So they have to add bays and they're using some parking.
Right. I mean, the applicant has been very good to work with. They've been very transparent with what their intention is. They bought the houses knowing that they might not get this approved. They also said that their intention is to take 33 South Hagen and after, if this was approved, if it was developed, to sell it outright, not to lease it, not to own it, not to rent it, anything like that. It's not going to be part of their corporate umbrella to put people in it or try to use it for anything else other than a residential property.
My point would just be like, I think it's a big ask. I understand that they've come down from where they were, but you know, this isn't something that typically we would look to approve. However, I do see that there could be benefits in making it safer, especially with, I mean, I personally witnessed the cars being unloaded in the middle of State Street. So, I mean, I think that as you move forward, if that's something that is potentially going to be improved, that they really need to, for safety reasons, to make that doable. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, the Ford dealer does it as well. I saw him the other day. Metro, yeah.
They've got a tricky parking lot too.
Yes, it's not uncommon. I mean, moving big trucks in and out of a site.
It's second to Route 7. I don't know which one's worse, but you know, as far as fatalities and or very serious accidents, 8th Street is probably equally as bad. No, I've talked to the chief about it. Yeah, because there's more than you probably hear about, but I mean, I remember just last year we had 2 or 3 within like a week or 2. So it's something to just,
And yeah,
it is what it is for that area, but if we can make it safer, I think we definitely need to try.
and if you take a global view of State Street at this is not the only car dealership in that zone. I mean, we're in Niskayuna, you get into Colony, there's other car dealerships that are doing some of it. Now they have larger lots and a little bit more acreage. This is definitely a congested lot, but the dynamics of getting large vehicles and tractor trailers onto tight sites is something that owners have to figure out when that's what the main point of their business is. They do get tractor trailers off the street onto that site, so they can do it. It's just a matter of how efficient they want to be and what they have to sacrifice for bringing in parking spaces and sales spaces.
Okay, so this will go to CAC next.
Oh, there's- And that's it's a special use permit for the parking lot. And then the lot line adjustment is a separate application. Currently, they're linked, but they're completely separate applications. So
Are we gonna see this on Wednesday?
that's it.
Yeah, that's a big one. And we spent so much time because it would come to the town board again. Zoning board has 6 variances, 5 residential area variances. We are trying to squeeze GE's commercial signage on there, so that potentially they're opening their building soon, they can start getting it, fabricated. And so possibly 1 commercial signage. That's what we're for this month. The Climate Smart Communities grant, moving along. Nicer the grant, Trish needs to go down and actually meet with, Home Depot representative. We're still missing, I think, 3 items at this point that she's trying to track down. And the Mohawk River Watersheds grant, I believe we're just at reimbursement, asking for reimbursement at this time. I think it's completed. And the linkage study grant, I'll talk about for complete streets. The sidewalk for under complete streets, the sidewalk project, if anybody's been down to Van Antwerp, basically it's like 95% done, I'd say. The sidewalk there was not ADA compliant. It is now ADA compliant and has the warning bumps and the landing areas. Up by the school, it kind of stops at Grand Boulevard because Yankee County is doing all of their curb ramps and striping this summer. So that will tie into their project and then that'll look nice when they're all done.
It does look nice.
Yeah, and then, the last thing they have to do is get the grass to grow and plant some more street trees there, but,
The trees are in.
oh, they plant them?
Yeah.
Nice.
Who waters those?
Uh,
Is that the town? Knock on doors?
Some of those things, did we do some of those things or no?
did, yeah,
I know. Neighbors have been putting water on them, so that's been great. I just didn't, they were asking me and I said, I don't know if the town waters them initially or what does that work?
the tree love for the town to water the trees,
Right.
but we really don't right now.
Okay.
It limits the grants and stuff we can get. For
All right. Well, we'll get the neighbors out.
Yes. And organize that, David, you will help with reasonably. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, so that is, I think, a real, like, our first real big ADA compliant project. So that'll help with implementing our ADA petition plan. And, Matt and I did meet with the consultant on a very preliminary design for Birchwood. We had a lot of comments. We sent it back to him, so that they can come up with a design that we can reach out to the residents with. And I have not seen a design yet for Cornelius, so. On the link,
You do Cornelius now?
just design, yes.
Okay, let's talk, because there's, National Grid's, there's an entire room. We're trying to work on that scheduling. I just wanted to reach out to the school to make sure that they're not doing any programming this summer. I don't think they usually do in outside, but they're replacing, gas mains, and that's on their list. And Ray has Cornelius as one of the ones he's paving, so we're trying to rip it up before he paves it. And so we'll try to coordinate.
Okay, yeah, I can make it, they've been working hard on Birchwood, but I can make them work hard on Cornelius.
Okay. I just found out about that yesterday.
Yeah. So, anytime our complete streets, I mean, the whole point of complete streets is anytime that there's a big project
Yeah.
and you can coordinate
Yeah.
people and resources and everything, yeah. Okay, so for the linkage study, we had a study advisory committee meeting on Tuesday, and so Bellevue came, the state DOT came, Jordan, our chief of police was there, we had Skagit County, we had planning board, complete streets committee, I think someone. There's a lot of people on the study advisory committee. Obviously, the Transportation Council is the ETA. A lot of people that help with our grants for the safety on Route 7. We're coming. And basically where we're at right now is we finished the existing condition study and we have a draft website that we're about to launch. When we launch the draft website, it's going to have a join at your own pace, like 15-minute seminar type thing to go through the existing conditions on Route 7. It is very information dense. So it has a story map. I can email it to you guys. I basically just go through all of the existing conditions on Route 7, where the accidents typically happen, what type of infrastructure is there, how wide the lanes are, the type of land uses, all that stuff is in the existing condition study. And that is the platform or the starting place for people to then comment on ideas that they want to see. So it took a while because it's a long corridor and it has a lot of information. But now that existing condition can go out, they will send the website out with that. They'll have the survey. The first thing is they'll do the join at your own pace, like webinar thing, have that out for a couple weeks. And then they're going to start to do some in-person outreaches, and then they'll start collecting concepts, ideas from people, and work through some of the problems they saw in the existing condition survey. And then we'll go back out to people with concept plans of things that we could do to make Route 7 safer. And
Yeah, is that link gonna be on the town website or?
we'll put it on the website. We're trying to get them a table it is today. They have their own flyers and things too. Like you'll see the flyers up on the buses that CDTA runs. And
Did Kim get back to you about those tables? If she
Not
didn't,
yet.
okay,
No,
I'll reach out to her.
like Bellevue is gonna distribute it to their employees. Like we were thinking of reaching out to GE and Capital too, because we imagine there's gonna be a number of people who.
Yeah, no, I just know there's a lot of concern in the corridor, the each other corridor with the residents in that area. So,
Yeah, and one thing that Jim Levy talked about, which we kind of did with the comprehensive plan, it's expensive, but not terribly expensive, is sending postcards to every single family home, or well, basically every property.
How much was that when we did that?
For the comprehensive plan. Yeah, I think it's like 100, it'll be slightly more. I think it was like 150 to mail the
Okay,
postcards.
I was gonna say, I didn't think it was that bad, but
Yeah.
yeah, a couple $100.
Yeah, it's a couple hundred, but it's probably worth it, because I don't know, the email blast doesn't reach everyone.
Yeah.
But everyone has a mailbox, so.
It's summer too, maybe we could get some kids to go door to door, flyers and handles or
Oh,
something.
Bill will go door to door. Yeah, so a lot of information. It takes a little time, but I definitely recommend when we release that website, you guys to go through the existing conditions. It's very interesting. One of the things that was very surprising to me, which is why I'm surprised that what you said that Jordan said on State Street, is that State Street carries less cars than Route 7.
It's the pedestrian
Yeah,
that are the
pedestrian.
issues. So
Yeah.
we've had several, like, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but I want to say in like a month period of time, we had two fatal pedestrians and somebody got hit by a bus.
That's on Route 5.
No, yeah, Route 5, yeah, yeah.
So
So,
it just, I mean, it makes sense because there's so much more commercial activity over there and being connected, like closer to Schenectady and the DMV and everything, there's much more pedestrian.
there's way more
issues.
pedestrian activity.
So, I mean, I could have like probably clarified that a little bit. It's not so much the number of cars and if they're traveling rapidly at this.
They're slower,
But
yeah.
because of the pedestrians, that's where the issue is.
Yeah, but this was very surprising to me, like, yeah, State Street carries a couple thousand less cars than Route 7. Western Ave carries less cars than Route 7. 787 actually, in Troy carries less cars than Route 7.
Like all Route 7?
Our Route 7 section of Route 7 is basically the equivalent of Wolf Road in Colorado.
What is it? What's in the-
Like 25,780 or something like that. Yeah, so State Street's at like 22, like we're quite a bit higher. It was just surprising to me how much higher. I would have picked 7 to be the lowest of the list that they made. I found that very interesting, and it may just be because there aren't stoplights, and it's, so it doesn't feel like there's as many cars. Like when you go to Wolf Road, like I said this, I'm always very overwhelmed by Wolf Road, and it seems like there's a million cars everywhere. But you are like stopping and turning. Like Route 7 just does not seem to me like it has the same amount of cars. Wolf Road has a little more, but not that much more.
Just go out at like 4:30, 5 o'clock after. You get the idea.
Which I'm very rarely understand. So, yeah. There's a lot of cars, but yeah, so you'll see that coming out very soon, and then we really will do pushes and things to try and get people to start. Arbor for Tree Council, the Arbor Day Fest was very successful. Thank you, Erin. I had a little of a breakdown because there was inside because of the rain, and that was being shared with baseball and National Drug Take Back Day. But we ended up thinking it actually worked out the best because I think that we had steady streams of people coming through, maybe partly because they were coming for baseball and we were able to give away all the trees. I actually think without baseball, we may have been shy, so it ended up being a blessing in disguise. But Aaron and Jordan both came to make sure that paths were made and people could get to their trees and people could get to their photos. And
Jordan said there was bugs.
Yeah,
Like
2 hours. 2 hours. He never sat down. I checked. We had the music in the courtroom, so many thanks to the courtroom. The Holy Crepes came and people were buying crepes in the rain, and yeah, it was good. And
I thought it was great.
yeah, Tree
I
Council really
enjoyed
appreciated
it.
everything about it.
I liked it inside too. Like it really
Didn't
didn't
like it inside.
It didn't deter from the. Yeah. And art upstairs.
Oh my
was
gosh, that
great,
part was
and
amazing. Yeah.
I thought it went really well.
So I took pictures if anybody wants to see the tree art that the high school students did. We had a contest. They won a Amazon gift card for first, second, and best poster. And they just did an amazing job. I'm so impressed with the students we had in this game. Yes. And then the street tree master plan, still gotta get that out to you guys. spring tree planting seems to be going very well. He picked up all the trees that we ordered for the spring tree planting, planted a couple for Arbor Day out there already, and Tree Council put out a couple stakes. We're getting more trees in the ground this spring than we've had in quite a long time, so really appreciative to the guys and both Highway and Tree Councils and working hard on that. It was a short turnaround.
Okay, CAC, we actually haven't met since our last meeting, just the way the calendar went. So, just to fill you in, again, the NRI, there's a number of recommendations made and we're gonna sit down as a council and just rank them in order of importance that we'd like to see accomplished within the town. And then we'll be continuing to work with GE and their plan. And, since the spring is rolling around, we're starting to crank up all our climate smart initiatives like the no pesticide and the composting quietness scheme and stuff like that. So more to come on that. It was sort of a dormant over the next meeting.
I got packets. Did you get this? Did you get packets of seeds home? I don't know if it was just the fifth graders or what, or if it was just Rosendale, but Ecos had like a little native planting and they give us seeds. And remember we were talking about No Mow May and how we
Yeah.
encourage people to like plant flowering.
Yes.
And
No,
I was like,
it
oh my gosh,
was
they did it
probably
like
just
cool.
Rosendale.
Yeah, well, that's why I wonder right now. I was like, oh Lord, dropped them off.
Well, you know, Ecos has those gardens that you can purchase to put together, and we've actually had them come talk to us, and we've sort of
It is.
yeah, it's very nice. Actually, the town had one up at the town pool. that Ecos put in.
Yeah. I think they're trying to put in a couple more.
They're trying to put in a little more, and if I can sell Sarah Sugg, who's actually in charge of that, she would like to do more.
So we have Rotary Club too that wants to put a peace pole in. We're looking at over by Camo's.
There.
Yes, the
Library.
over by the library, there's like a little bench area that's sort of off to the side, and we have to get in there and clean it up anyway. So I thought the peace pole with a pollinator garden might look pretty
So, yeah, I mean,
great.
I feel like didn't we talk about the three spots? Like,
We did one of the spots at Lions Park. We went and looked, and I see what Ray's saying. It would get ruined in the winter. So we were trying to find we did find another little spot over kind of closer to where a sunny spot next to the kayak launch that's over there. There were a couple other spots. So maybe we just take a walk with them and kind of.
Yeah.
Because I still think we could do something along the path that Cubs Farm with him too.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
we did talk about that, but I didn't know if we ever decided
I
that.
don't know that we did.
Yeah,
either, but-
because the high school's planting the sycamores there. We could get Joel to plant some bushes and then do pollinator garden along there. Yeah, yeah.
where to come? Jim Nelson?
No.
Okay, the ARB,
Yeah, actually, we didn't have an ARB meeting in April due to the school vacation schedule, so we'll pick back up in May.
and a comprehensive plan.
Yeah. Okay, so we met with the consultant and we had a very good discussion, lengthy discussion about the land use chapter and the economic development chapter. So the consultant had looked at the 2013 plan and we had really discussions about whether things were still relevant, what the committee wanted to see, what changes we wanted to make. So I thought it was a very good meeting and I'm anticipating we'll get some really good chapters from, at least drafts from the consultant. So I personally felt like that was a really good thing to do. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Big weight off. We are continuing to work on the updates to the open space recreation chapter, historic preservation chapter, and complete street chapter. And we still have to reach out to the town to help us with the utility chapter.
Oh, yeah, we're getting closer with Raft Ellis. We can pull out some of the stuff that we give to Raft Ellis too. Yeah, we've got some good, we'll have some.
Yeah, in the past, the town's been very good about it. Most of that chapter is very technical. Here.
Raft Ellis is the one that's doing the.
Probably at some point we would like You sit down with us and just give us what you think the concerns are and what the vision is.
How long?
George, a long. Yeah, but
We have time.
we have time, but it's really important. We're not up to date on that, and you don't have the expertise for that, but we do want to capture, you know, how the town needs to move forward
Yep.
and what the problems, the hotspots are, so.
That's
Right,
what we're working on.
yeah.
Yeah, so we could, we'll set up a meeting.
Sounds good.
I was wrong. I don't think I'm gonna say after, but okay. So for building department of enforcement, we've got two big things that we're rolling out. We're working very hard on. You guys worked very hard on the code. We have been working hard on informing short-term rental owners of the code, working with them to get permits. Our deadline for them to be in compliance was April 30th, so 2 days ago. We do need to send now notice and orders to a number of them. We have been working with a number of them. It's been a process. And we're hoping that we will get a permit issued here in a week or two, for some of the ones that have been trying to be compliant. We have heard from them that there's a lot of pushback on the 7-week minimum. They do not like that. 7-day, sorry, a 7-day minimum, 1 week minimum.
I can see where they're doing.
Yeah. Then they, you know, it's a lot of forms and things for them to put on the website, but we're working through it. We'll see how it goes. I do expect to issue a number of notice and orders, so you may hear some grumblings. Fire inspections, I mentioned this at the town board meeting because we updated the fees. We are sending fire inspection letters to our first round of 30 companies in our fire district 2 and Stanford Heights. And we will be working with them to make sure that they are fire safety safe. And we also, our new building inspector has brought us up online with a website called Compliance Engine. So if you're doing inspections for commercial hoods and elevators and things like that, we have to upload them to the website, and then we can check and see that, because these inspections have to be done by certified inspectors. So we can see that all of their certified inspections are complete when we're doing our fire inspections by a nice website. Most of the towns all around us, Glenville, Colony, Schenectady, Cushing Park, they all use this system, and it's quite nice. And he brought that over, his knowledge of that, from, because we stole him from the city of Schenectady, but he has been working very hard and he's being great. So
Protecting.
so okay, so for planning department, I think Clark has a slide that he wants us to share.
Okay, yeah, we just wanted to give a little update on, you know, we have this collaborative effort going on between the planning office, the planning board, water, sewer and engineering and highway department on stormwater, on new projects. And we just wanted to give an example of how we're doing that. So obviously, as a new project comes to the planning board, they look at stormwater as part of their review. So the planning office, planning board, and water, sewer, and engineering are kind of looking at the design aspect of that. And then once the stormwater system that's in the ground is kind of maintained and operated by the highway department. So we're all working together. And we just wanted to show one slide on an example of a project that came through the board a couple of years ago. It's a 2-lot subdivision for Polsinelli Drive that was subdivided. It's upland of Row Road, an area that collects a lot of stormwater. So there was a lot of focus on making sure that we really looked at stormwater. It's on my thumb drive.
Oh, on 40? No. This one's the thumb drive. Oh, is it a different thumb drive?
Yeah, just the Polsinelli Drive.
Oh, right
right
here,
up there.
okay.
So the 2 red dots are the 2 lots on Polsinelli Drive. They're obviously upland from Row Road, which does kind of collect a lot of water. So we went through literally 6 iterations of a stormwater report from the applicant's engineer, reviewed by a town designated engineer, to devise a stormwater system that would make sure that no additional water was conveyed down to the Row Road area. Now, what sometimes can happen, almost typically can happen with a subdivision is it gets all subdivided. Now new entities purchase the subdivided land, and they sometimes come in with a different plan that they would like to do. So we're, in this particular case, we're just reminding the new owners that 6 iterations of stormwater design went into making sure that this was safely designed and wouldn't impact the lands downstream. So we're telling them, you can either follow the plan that was approved by the planning board, reviewed and approved by the planning board and the water, sewer and engineering department, or you may have to come back to the planning board and repeat that process if you choose to change that. So that's just kind of an example of the focus on new projects coming through the town, the focus that we're putting on stormwater to make sure that we don't impact any existing areas. The other thing we're doing is on existing systems. Matt's crew is doing an inspection and documentation of existing infrastructure, verifying the diameters and elevations of some catch basins, diameters of pipes. And then we're looking at an engineering services project to take a look at some of the hotspot areas and try to strategically improve them as budgets and things allow. But so it's kind of a two-pronged approach of making sure we don't do anything that adversely affects any of the property by what the planning board's doing, and then looking at hotspots to kind of strategically make little adjustments as appropriate. So even the project that was mentioned, Dave mentioned, the GE Vernova project, they're going through the same stormwater scrutiny to make sure that they're not doing anything. The JCC put up a small pavilion. Matt inspected that personally to make sure that even a project like that isn't going to add to a problem somewhere. So just wanted to let everyone know there's still a lot of attention and cooperation going into that.
Don't have any updates on Council Road, sidewalk or Winnie Road easement. For Metroplex, Doc Horton wasn't able to make it today, but he did mention, because I was reading through the minutes, to go and look at that Metroplex presentation that Metroplex did for their kind of year-end summary. It's great. You guys, you should go look at it. If you just go to their website and you just go to I think they have a bunch of documents. You know, it's like our website, you can find it pretty easily and you just click through it. It does make you feel pretty good about living in Schenectady County. I'm not sure that's the intention, but it's successful.
I don't have anything, but I heard you, and it sounds like we might have some short-term rental cases going to court soon, so I will anticipate that.
Yeah. We sent out 8 and we've heard back from 2. So essentially we're sending out 6 notice and orders. Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing that, were you there yesterday when we were talking about the food truck thing?
Not yesterday.
One thing we should talk, we were trying to get the event application thing situated, and something came up that Chief Benna had mentioned, and they said it has to go through building and planning, like food trucks versus allowing food trucks into parks and things like that. We've been getting more and more of those requests. We don't really have a process for it. And they said it because of what it is, the cooking and the ovens inside of structures and stuff, that we would have to go through you guys. So we want to loop you in on that.
Okay.
I just forgot to mention it.
Usually we don't regulate things on wheels, but we're always happy to help.
Yeah, it sounded weird. And I'm like, I didn't know that. And he said he went to some, like, I don't know, he went to some seminar, like something on it. I'm like, oh, I mean, I guess when the way he described it, it made sense. But I was like, huh, okay.
Yeah, we're always happy to help.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
The more food trucks in the world, the better. Yeah, Rita?
It's just 2 things that I really want to believe in. This I'd be proud of this one. The student from this high school graduate and is now a first year Yale University student. And what she did was she contacted me because she wants to do a profile and a project on Venus Community Co-op.
Oh, that'd be fun.
And it turns out that how it impacts the city, because this is what I asked her for a list of questions, and she was supposed to meet with us, but she couldn't get into the meeting. But we're gonna try to work with her and and get as much information as we can. But it was something to actually talk to her and realize how much this community puts out into the world. It's not just what they're doing in the community. So, but she decided to pay back and come back and highlight the co-op. So I'm trying to find as much information. And if anyone knows, has any information about the co-op, can you please email me?
Mayor's on the board, right? Is she?
Former president.
Yeah, there's.
Oh, yes, you're supposed to actually know how the operations, and how it affects the community now. How does it link up with the town, as far as, structure wise and all of these things.
My number, another good person to contact would be one of the former store managers, which was Don Bisgrove. He was there for decades and is a treasure trove of information.
You might have seen these things too, Rita, but I have seen pictures of the co-ops, like when it was a tiny building with no building next to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
had those somewhere.
Yeah, it started as like a war rationing type thing. And then they bought shares, and that's what those shares were used to purchase. And then eventually it evolved into an actual small grocery store.
When she does it, let me know. I'd love to see that final.
No, it's been just bringing up, trying to find out what exactly her project really entails. I mean, that this history of this co-op is amazing. I mean, there's so many aspects of it. So, this is going to be a really hard one. We're going to find out how much you can take. But also, this is another one. The trolley building. There used to be a trolley stop on Choice Connecting Road, right? And the building was donated to the town, and it was on loan. I don't know if you know, it was on loan to the Maybe Farm.
Oh, okay.
And the Schenectady Historical Society came and picked it up. And what happened was it was returned in 2006. It was on loan. 2016, the town retrieved it, and it was supposed to be rehabbed and it's placed outside on a foundation by the train station building.
Where is this thing?
It's now.
It's in the highway garage?
It's in the maintenance. Yeah, well, we didn't know if it was still, in one piece. So we've been looking. We went over overview maps, and went on Google, and it's still there.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna go. Carol and I are gonna go down there and try to look and see what shape it's in. It's not something. The Maybe Farm was using it as a ticket booth. Because it's a building, and actually that's what it was. You get get your tickets for the trolleys.
Take a picture. I want to see
Yes.
what it looks like.
I just sent it to
Pete,
you.
Pete can bring you out into the yard. There's a lot of stuff in the yard.
Who?
Pete,
Pete?
yeah, I'll send you.
On Parks Connecting Road, there was a trolley stop that goes from, one railroad. It takes it like
The old trolley, yeah. But
yes.
do you know where it was?
Well, there was one further down on Eastern, by Eastern, but this one right here, that's one of the things we're doing right now, is trying to center exactly, because it was on Choice Connecting Road, and I think it was probably over there by the RGB, what's it, I think building.
Yeah, by the highway.
By the highway, yes. So
I'm
we're gonna try
curious
to
to-
revive that and look at it, but that's not gonna be something that's, it's a little, well, it's not really something, maybe it can be a ticket window in the park for events.
I know, but I want to see, that's why I want to see what it looks like, see where we could repurpose it.
It's really cute. I'll send you some pictures that we have.
That'd be great.
All right, so that's it for us. Mr. McKinney, I really feel good that Mr. McKinney, he says that the building's unsafe because they were looking at it last year. So Park is going to you know, right? You can-
The Grange, sure.
it's
The
the
Grange
Grange.
building, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
yeah, the
We went
Grange
and sent
building.
Pictures.
Yeah, so, you know, Clark is gonna get, right, he'll take it from
Well,
here.
we'll talk about maybe,
Steps.
checking it out, next step.
Yeah.
Is it concern the foundation? Because I know the foundation was gone. Last time I was in there, that was probably 2010. Yeah.
So Rita was saying that Mr. McKinney was uncomfortable even, well, we were saying that would kind of be the next thing for him to look at. He's uncomfortable even going in the building, so I haven't
The
looked at.
building, the floor is coasting beam, so there's actually really big structural beams that run. And there's not really a basement there, but I can see why you'd be concerned because the foundation is going. But that's also a concern because if you start losing, you know, structural, you're gonna get
Yeah, that's why we're just gonna get
Yeah.
it up right now and work it first.
Yeah.
It looks like the back half, we were talking to Ray about it. There's a part of the building that's not as old as the original structure. It should probably just.
Yeah, I think.
Did you agree?
Yeah, and
Okay.
that part is not. Yeah,
Right.
and that roof is broken and there's holes and everything. Yeah, I think the general consensus.
Okay, so good. We'll finally get started on that.
That's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We have.
Yeah.
What's the name?
Motion.
Okay.
Thanks again for doing this.
Yeah, I got a few sketches and
Very nice of your daughter.
yeah, definitely.
Very, because you know, she's really, since I wish I knew earlier, because we've been going back and forth.
Okay.
You know, so.
Yeah. Sarah Belofsky was also